Hello, I'm so happy to meet you again in this new English lesson on أونروا TV. I hope you will like this lesson and will get benefit too. Lots of English learners find it difficult to decide when to use the past simple tense and when to use the present perfect. In this lesson, we will help you understand the difference. First, we will discuss the past simple tense, its form and use, then compare it with the present perfect tense. أعزائي، يجد العديد من الطلبة صعوبة في التمييز بين استخدام كل من زمن الماضي البسيط والمضارع التام. في هذا الدرس سنركز على زمن الماضي البسيط ونقارن بينه وبين المضارع التام في التركيب والاستخدام. Let's get started. Around the world in 80 days, a very famous story. With this story, we will begin our lesson. We are going to read a summary of this story and notice how the writer expressed past actions. Let's read together. The great French writer Jules Verne wrote his famous book, Around the World in 80 Days, in 1872. Mr. Fogg told his friends that he could travel around the world in just 80 days. He left London and began a great journey. He went a lot of the way by ship and by train. However, he rode an elephant for a short time, and he flew in a hot air balloon too. As you can imagine, he had a lot of information on the way. Finally, he got back to London on time and won a prize. Now, let's notice these sentences. Jules Verne wrote this story in 1872. He left London and began a great journey. He rode an elephant and flew in a balloon. He won a prize. Notice, dear students, all these sentences have verbs in the past simple tense. All the story describe actions that began in 1872. So these verbs express actions that began and ended in the past. Notice the verbs wrote, left, began, rode, flew, and won. Now, let's answer this question together. Why do we use the past simple tense? Let's see the answer. We use the past simple tense to express an action that happened at a particular time in the past. This action began and ended in the past. أعزائي، نستخدم زمن الماضي البسيط للتعبير عن أحداث حصلت في وقت ما في الماضي بدأت وانتهت وليست لها علاقة بالحاضر. Let's look at some detailed examples. I drank a cup of coffee this morning. Where's the verb in this sentence? Good. The verb is drank. What tense is this? This verb is in the past simple tense. Now notice, I drank this cup of coffee at 7 o'clock. Now, it's about 9 a.m. So this action happened 2 hours ago. It began and ended in the past. Let's explain this sentence again using the timeline. Look. This line shows the past, and this point shows the present now, and that line shows the future. When I say I drank a cup of coffee this morning, I mean this action happened in the past. It began and ended in the past 2 hours ago. It has nothing to do with the present. Am I drinking coffee now? Of course not. We are talking about the past. Let's have another example. Look. Dinosaurs died out millions of years ago. Where's the verb? Great. The verb is died. This verb is also in the past simple tense. This action happened in the past. Are there any dinosaurs on the earth today? No. Let's explain it using the timeline. When I say dinosaurs died out millions of years ago, I'm talking about the past. This action happened long ago, millions of years ago. And notice, it doesn't matter if the action happened millions of years ago or just 5 minutes ago. The important thing is that the action happened in the past, it began and ended and has nothing to do with the present. Now, let's look at this picture and read the sentence. She went shopping yesterday. She went shopping yesterday. Where's the verb? Great. The verb is went. This verb is in the past simple tense. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. When did she go shopping? When did she go shopping? Good. She went shopping yesterday. She went shopping yesterday. So, yesterday is a time word that is often used with the past simple tense. So, dear students, whenever you see yesterday, the verb should be in the past simple tense. It's an adverb which is used with the past simple tense. Let's move to another example. My dad bought a new car last month. Where's the verb in this sentence? Great. The verb is bought. What tense is that? This verb is in the past simple tense. Now, when did my dad buy the new car? Good. He bought it last month. So this is another word that is used with the past simple tense. Notice we can use last week, last month, last year, or last century. Now, in the past, people traveled by camels. Where is the verb in this sentence? Good. The verb is traveled. What tense is that? This verb is also in the past simple tense. Now, do people travel by camels now? No, we are talking about the past. In the past, people traveled by camels. And one more example. Look at this picture. This picture shows the first walk on the moon. Armstrong landed on the moon in 1969. Look, the verb is landed, past simple tense. When did Armstrong land on the moon? He landed on the moon in 1969. So notice, when we use past years, we use the past simple tense. So you can say, she was born in 1999, or I visited Egypt in 2004. Now, let's move to another sentence. Look at the covers of these books. Who wrote these plays? Great. Shakespeare wrote a lot of great plays. Where is the verb in this sentence? Good. The verb is wrote. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Is Shakespeare still alive? Can he write more plays? No, Shakespeare is dead. And all the actions of dead people should be in the past simple tense. We can say, Newton discovered gravity, or Graham Bell invented the first telephone. Now, dear students, let's revise all what we have learned so far. We use the past simple tense to describe actions that began and ended in the past. We use it with time words like yesterday, last, and ago. And don't forget, all the actions of dead people should be in the past simple tense. Now, let's stop for a short break and be back. Stay with us. Dear students, welcome back. Now, let's discuss the form of the past simple tense. Notice, most verbs form their past and past participle by adding ed to the end of the verb. Look, play, played, played. Clean, cleaned, cleaned. We call these verbs regular verbs. Now, we form the past simple tense with the past form of the verb. Just one word, the past form of the verb. So, we can say, he played tennis last week. Or I can say, I cleaned my room this morning. Now, some verbs do not form their past and past participle by adding ed. They have different forms and there is no rule for that. We call these verbs irregular verbs. For example, the past of go is went and the past of break is broke. As we said before, we form the past simple tense with just the past form of the verb. For example, I can say, I went shopping yesterday, or my brother broke my favorite vase last week. Now, how do we negate past simple tense? We change the past simple tense into negative by using the helping verb did plus not, and we can say it or contract it like didn't, plus the base verb. Let's see an example. He broke the vase. Can you change this sentence into negative? Remember, the verb broke is in the past simple tense. Try. Good. We say, he didn't break the vase. He didn't break the vase. We use the helping verb did plus not, then the base verb or the infinitive. Let's have one more example. She cleaned the house. Try to change this sentence into negative. Can you do that? Good. She didn't clean the house. She didn't clean the house. Now, how do we form questions in the past simple tense? Let's see together. We use the helping verb did, then the subject, then the base verb. Sometimes we have complementary. Let's see an example. Did you go? And look, did goes for all subject pronouns. Did you go? Did she go? Did he go? Let's try to make a question. She cleaned the house. Can you make a question? Great. Did she clean the house? The helping verb did, the subject pronoun, then the base verb, then the complementary. Did she clean the house? One more example. He broke the vase. Let's make a question. Can you do that? Good. Did he break the vase? Did, the helping verb, the subject, and the base verb, then the complementary. Now, dear students, it's time to practice. Let's do an activity together. Now, we are going to correct the verbs in brackets. We have a story, the story of the bird and the fox. We are going to correct the verbs in the following story. Let's read it together. Once upon a time, a hungry fox was walking in the forest. He saw a bird on a tree. The bird had a piece of cheese in its mouth. The fox wanted the cheese. He told the bird to sing a song. The bird opened its mouth to sing. The cheese fell and the fox ate it. Now, dear students, we are going to correct these verbs and put them in the past simple tense because all the actions of this story happened in the past. Let's begin together. Once upon a time, a hungry fox was walking in the forest. He saw a bird on a tree. Now, can you correct this verb? See, is it regular or irregular? Of course, the verb see is an irregular verb. So the correct form, he saw a bird in a tree. Now next one, the bird have a piece of cheese in its mouth. Try to correct this verb. What's the answer? Great. The bird had a piece of cheese in its mouth. Let's move to the next sentences. The fox want the cheese. What's the correct verb? Good. The fox wanted the cheese. The verb want is a regular one. He told the bird to sing a song. The bird opened its mouth to sing. The cheese fell and the fox ate it. Now, as you notice, some of the verbs are regular and some of the verbs are irregular. Now, we'll stop for another break and we'll soon be back. Stay with us. Dear students, welcome back. Now, notice these two sentences. They arrived in London 2 years ago. They have lived in London since then. Now, let's compare the two sentences. Let's first look at number one. They arrived in London 2 years ago. Where is the verb in this sentence? Great. The verb is arrived. What tense is that? This verb is in the past simple tense. And arrival in London is an action that happened in the past, began and ended in the past. And notice the time word ago is a time word which is always used with the past simple tense. Now, what about the second sentence? They have lived in London since then. Where is the verb in this sentence? The verb is have lived. This verb is in the present perfect. Now, what's the difference between the two verbs? Arrived and have lived. Let's explain this using the timeline. So we have two sentences. They arrived in London 2 years ago and they have lived in London since then. Now notice the verb arrived is in the past simple tense. Arrival in London is an action that began and ended in the past. It has nothing to do with the present. But when I say they have lived in London, I'm talking about the whole duration, which began in the past and continues up to the present. So this verb is connected with both the past and the present. Now, how is it connected with the past? The verb lived started in the past. It started 2 years ago. How is it connected with the present? The action is in progress now. They are living in London now, and they may continue to live in London for some time in the future. So, the verb have lived is connected with the past and the present, but arrive describe an action that began and ended in the past. So this is the difference. Now, let's have another example. Mike joined the team in 2010. He has played for the team for 3 years. Now, the verb joined is in the past simple tense. It describes an action that began and ended in the past. So joining the club is an action in the past. But has lived, this verb is in the present perfect. It is connected with both the past and the present. It began in the past and continues up to the present. So now he is playing for the team. Now let's answer this question together. Why do we use present perfect? We use the present perfect tense to express an action that is connected with both the past and the present. نستخدم زمن المضارع التام للتعبير عن أحداث حدثت في الماضي ولكن لها ارتباط ما في الواقع. Now, let's talk about the form of the present perfect tense. We form the present perfect with has or have plus the past participle. Now, has goes with the pronouns she, he, and it. Have goes with the pronouns I, we, they, and you. And remember, some verbs are regular, they form their past and past participle by adding ed, and some verbs are irregular. You have to learn them by heart. Now, we say she has made it. We have made it. Now, how do we negate verbs in the present perfect? Let's see together. We just add not to the end of has or have. We say, she has not made it. We have not made it. And we often use contractions. We say, she hasn't made it. We haven't made it. Now, what about the questions? Let's see together. How do we form questions in the present perfect? We use has, the subject pronoun, the past participle, then the complementary. So has precedes the subject pronoun. We say, has she made it? Have they made it? Now it's time to practice. We are going to choose the past simple tense or the present perfect to use in the following sentences. Let's begin together. Now Sammy is talking to Hani. Sammy says, how long you be at this school? Hani says, I start at this school in 2010. So I be here for 3 years. Now let's see together which is more appropriate to use, the past simple tense or the present perfect. Let's see the answer together. How long have you been at this school? We use the present perfect. I started at this school in 2010. With past years, we use past simple tense. So remember, we use the present perfect to describe actions that began in the past but is connected with the present. He started at the school in the past, but he's still learning at the same school. Next one. Let's see this sentence. Brazil won the Football World Cup in 2008. Which is more appropriate to use in this sentence, the past simple tense or the present perfect? Look, we are talking about an action that happened in the past, in 2008. So the answer is Brazil won the World Cup in 2008. Good. And now our last activity. We are going to make sentences using either the past simple tense or the present perfect. Look, this is a to-do list. Sammy wrote it, and here are some activities for the family members to do. Wash the car, do the food shopping, mend the gate, clean the windows. All these actions have been done. Let's look at number 1, wash the car. This job is for Sammy. He did it an hour ago. Now let's try to make some sentences using the past simple tense and the present perfect. Sammy has already washed the car. He washed it an hour ago. Notice here we use the present perfect because the action is connected with the past and the present. How is it connected with the past? It was done in the past. How is it connected with the present? The car is clean now. Next one, do the food shopping. This job is for Mom. She did it yesterday. Now, can you make some sentences? Good. We can say, Mom has already done the food shopping. She went shopping yesterday. We use the present perfect in the first sentence, and we use the past simple tense with the adverb yesterday. And the last one, mend the gate. This job is for Dad. He did it this morning. Now, can you make sentences? Great. You can say, Dad has mended the gate. He mended it this morning. So we have two verbs, one in the present perfect and the other is in the past simple tense. I guess this will bring us to the end of our lesson today. Thanks very much for watching and goodbye.